I don't get the appeal of live action remakes. I really don't. Now, I know this isn't just a me thing, but it can sometimes feel that way when the concept keeps getting pushed and more keep getting made and it doesn't seem like people really enjoy them all that much. And I'd like to try to articulate why I think they get made and why they just generally aren't very good. I'll eventually make my way to talking about Avatar, so if that's all you're interested in, skip to the timestamp on screen. As for everyone else, hi, I hope you enjoy my rambling. I love animation, I always have. Animation is a powerful medium that struck a chord with people since its inception, and I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't like it. There does seem to be a problem, though, in that a few influential people look down on it, and because of that, fans of animation get incredibly defensive about it, because they feel like something they love is being underappreciated. And it leads to this toxic attitude wherein people will try to claim animation as a whole for adults, and try to find instances of maturity in cartoons and then claim it as an adult thing, which is, ironically, a very immature way to consume media, to try to make it something it's not out of a fear of judgment for enjoying the thing. I've lost track of how many people have tried to claim that Pixar movies aren't for kids because they have heavier subjects, and it's just, kids can understand this. Kids are a lot smarter than you give them credit for. Just get over yourself and stop trying to make everything about you. At the end of the day though, it is still done out of love for the medium, and the problem with live action remakes, in my opinion, is that they're almost never done out of love. Do you guys remember the World of Warcraft movie? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, I only just remembered it when I was writing this essay. I never watched it myself because I don't like WoW, but I remember the discourse surrounding it upon its theatrical release, and I remember a big question surrounding the movie was, why didn't they just animate it? They have the capabilities, they have a recognizable art style and dedicated fans. They could have just made what amounted to a higher budget in-engine cutscene and people would have loved it, but they didn't. They went with live action and the movie suffered for it. In fact, the only parts people seemed to enjoy were when the orcs, who were entirely CGI, were on screen because that was the only part that felt like World of Warcraft. I don't really have any proof on the matter, but I suspect it was ego that got in the way. I suspect that Blizzard decided the story was too good for their silly cartoony art style and decided that only live action would do, because that's the respectable medium apparently. And I think this is the first reason that live action remakes get made, because some people just don't think something can be taken seriously if it's a cartoon. And we all know that's complete fucking nonsense, so I'm going to set it aside for a moment and move on to the second reason they might get made. Money. I haven't watched any of the Disney live action remakes. I mean, I watched Mary Poppins Returns and I plan on watching Maleficent at some point, but that's because the first one's more of a sequel, and the latter, I'm told, is actually good. But other than that, not a single one. And I have two reasons for this, both of which I consider to be very good. Reason the first, I just don't fucking want to. None of them look particularly interesting, and I don't have a lot of money to spare, so I'm not wasting it on something I'm certain I won't enjoy. My roommate does have a Disney Plus account though, so maybe I'll give them a rundown for a video someday. Comment below if that's something you'd like to see. The second reason, I don't think they'd be very good. They're pretty obvious cash grabs, with a fraction of the charm of the originals, and I don't need to see a shittier version of something I already liked, or didn't like. I just don't need shittier versions of things. Plus, it became pretty obvious that they were using the movies to address criticisms of the old ones in the most passive-aggressive, half-assed ways possible, and I don't need that in my life. Also, in addressing old criticisms, they made a lot of them into much worse stories, like making Mulan into a fucking sorcerer superhero, or adding extraneous characters that don't do anything to Dumbo, or just making The Lion King fucking boring. God, I can't wait for them to remake Frozen and Tangled. I'm sure the people who brought us The Beast That Negs will definitely make the characters extra charming. Third possible reason, because I think they can do better. I'm putting a pin in this one for later, but we'll come back to it. Oh, trust me, we'll come back to it. Final possible reason, genuine love for the original work. I feel like this is probably the rarest of all, though that might just be because I can only think of two examples off the top of my head. One Piece and Alita Battle Angel. I probably don't have to introduce you to either one. Netflix's One Piece adaptation is rather famous for being made by fans for fans and with Oda's blessing and involvement. The entire thing is basically one big love letter to the series, and everyone who worked on it is so obviously in love with it that the very idea of just being a part of making the show fills them with the kind of pure happiness that, if converted into energy, could power New York for a week. And Alita Battle Angel was a similar endeavour of love that, once you got past the freaky giant eyes, was an absolute joy and marvel to behold. You can feel the love that went into every aspect of it, and it genuinely feels like a real-life anime in a way that almost nothing else compares to. If you guys have any recommendations for things with similar vibes, please let me know in the comments. I absolutely adore works of passion like this, Not even joking, I took a break in the middle of making this video to rewatch Alita. I used to have a DVD copy, but I think it got lost when I moved house, which really bummed me out, but I could at least rent it on Amazon for like $4. Sorry, I'm probably rambling a little too much right now. I'll get back on topic, though I will have to make an Alita video at some point. I was originally planning on watching the live action Avatar and giving my thoughts on it, but no. Nope. No. I fucking tried, but I couldn't even sit through the first fucking episode. It was so shit and so boring and so fucking devoid of charm, and nobody's paying me to do this, so I refuse to suffer through it. Maybe if I was given like $5 and a bag of gummy worms per episode, I could do it, but until then, I fucking refuse. Oh wait, the episodes are like an hour each. Okay, $5 and 2 bags of sour gummy worms per episode. Avatar was an amazing show, and is widely considered to be one of the greatest cartoons of all time. And for the life of me, I cannot understand the appeal of a live-action adaptation of it. Well, actually no, I can kind of see the logic. Fans just want more Avatar. They want more of the thing they love, but they're just not going to get that from a live-action remake of it. Presentation-wise, nothing can compete with the energy and the feel of the animated work. Animation might be expensive, but outside of video games, there's nothing better for presenting a world, because its only limits are technical ability and imagination. Is the ideal form of this just a shot-for-shot remake, but with flesh and blood actors? Because that's just never going to happen. Not just because of the technical limitations, but because it's not financially feasible, and that means things are going to be cut, and fans hate when things get cut from a work for the sake of adaptation, even if they're extraneous. Remember Tom Bombadil from The Lord of the Rings? He didn't make it into the movies because he's the very definition of extraneous. Even when brought up in universe, he's largely written off as completely useless and a detour at best, a complete waste of time. And Avatar doesn't have a Tom Bombadil equivalent. Every part of the show is used to advance and grow. Filler doesn't exist. There were goofy one-off episodes, but they always remained in continuity, and they were always used to further explore the characters in the world. Live-action adaptations of cartoons are always very impressive on a technical level, but they almost always lose the charm and energy that made people fall in love with it in the first place. At best, the charm and energy will be on a similar level, but it will necessarily be a little different, because of the vast ocean of differences between cartoon and flesh. Let's take that first pin out. People take these things incredibly seriously. Cartoons have always been taken seriously because art is taken seriously. It shapes us, influences our growth as people, and we make it a part of ourselves. It's completely reasonable to say that people are who they are, in part, because of the media they consume. And when something has that big an impact on you as a person, you feel the need to protect it. People always take art seriously, no matter what they tell you. That's why people get defensive of their childhood cartoons. That's why literally millions of people are going through the Harry Potter grieving process. Avatar isn't beyond criticism. No, art is, but it was so good and touched so many people, and the biggest problem with the live-action remake is that the people in charge of it think they can do better without understanding what made it great to begin with. In the lead-up to its release, more and more news dropped that killed any interest I might have had in this travesty. They took out Sokka's sexist character arc because they felt it was iffy, but Sokka's sexism being iffy was the point. It was a character flaw, something he had to overcome to grow as a person. It was the entire catalyst for his relationship with Suki even. They're removing Sozin's comment as a ticking clock because who needs organically rising stakes that tie into the world building and push our characters to change and grow? Katara doesn't even get to be angry anymore, though no fucking clue whether they thought that was a good idea. Katara's anger was understandable, it was directed and passionate, and he got shit done. She used her anger to fight the patriarchy. She was a fucking inspiration. We need more of that today than we ever have before. Oh, and let's not forget that
there's no war in Ba Sing Se.
Because, and I quote, I wanted to capture the true beauty of the town and its culture without audiences experiencing the confusion of the rug being ripped beneath their feet. It's gaslighting. Fucking what? I'm genuinely confused by this. Does he mean that it's gaslighting the audience? Or that it felt like they were gaslighting the characters? Because if it's the first one, that's called a plot twist, you inept fucking nitwit. It's a basic writing tool, how can you not know that? And if the second, that was the fucking point. The Dai Li are gaslighting the entire country to control it from behind the scenes. It was a major fucking plot point and a huge part of the story. And how the fuck do you not know this? Did you not watch the fucking show? Oh my god, this legitimately pisses me off. I'm I'm so angry right now. Not even as an Avatar fan, but as a fucking writer. Who let these clowns direct anything? No wonder the original showrunners left so early on. They probably couldn't stand to see their labour of love get butchered by these losers who wouldn't know good storytelling if Kyoshi slapped them across the face with it. I just don't get it. Why did anyone want this again? God, at least Shyamalan had the mercy to keep the paint at 2 hours. The longer I sat here writing this, the angrier I got. I didn't even have a proper conclusion to this. The only positive to come out of this is that it will inevitably just spark more interest in the original and bring it more attention. You know what, just go watch the animated Last Airbender. Find some joy in that. I'm so sorry for losing control for a minute there. I'm writing real slow, and if you'll excuse me, I have a palate cleanser to watch. Have a nice day.